Welcome back, everyone. We have an update from Stuhini Explorations Limited, trades on the OTCQB under the symbol STXPF and on the TSXV under the symbol STU. It's a mineral exploration company focused on exploration and development of precious and base metals properties in Western Canada and the Southwest United States. Please welcome President and CEO David O'Brien. Welcome, David.
Thanks so much, Anna. Great to be here again.
Wonderful. We're looking forward to your update.
Great. Appreciate that. Oh, I wonder where my...
All right, your slides are right up there in the slide deck. You see that? Next,
I don't.
There we go. Do you see the tab video bridge?
I see stop sharing. No, I don't.
Yeah, click stop sharing.
Okay.
Now, upper left-hand side, there's a tab that says slides.
Okay, sorry, must be my screen. There it is, video bridge. My apologies. Video bridge, yeah, slides.
Yeah, slides.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. My apologies there. I got just a quick review on Stuhini. I gave a pretty detailed description last time we were here. Always a little bit of a disclaimer. Briefly, we have 46.5 million shares outstanding. We have just under 40% insider holdings. Eric Sprott is a key insider. I'm aligned with the company. I've been an investor all my life, fairly new to CEO. I run real businesses in the private sector. I draw a $2,000 a month salary, and my motivation certainly isn't my salary, it's my shares. And I'm the third largest shareholder after Eric Sprott, and the co-founder who sold us the Ruby Creek project. We use one of my fly fishing offices in Vancouver, and very low G&A. We have 7 projects, but our main projects are Ruby Creek molybdenum deposit, very advanced project in northern BC. We recently acquired a couple of projects in Nevada. Back to the molybdenum deposit. When you're looking at mining companies, a lot of mineral exploration companies, a lot of arm waving and drilling going on. Our project's all drilled out. Our molybdenum deposit. It's there's not very many pure play molybdenum deposits in the Western world. I believe there's 5 of them that are similar. This is a project that under the previous operator advanced into actual mine construction and went through bankable feasibility studies, environmental assessment, funding. This was during much different times. So it shows you how beaten up this market is right now. The previous operator had a market cap that peaked at $300 million, and they had a $600 million credit facility to build the mine, and the mine went into construction. We bought that project when the price of molybdenum collapsed in 2008. Project sat in ashes as a zombie company. They eventually went bankrupt, and we bought it off the bankruptcy trustees for $2.5 million in cash and shares, and molybdenum was less than $10 a pound. But it's all drilled out and defined. It's a 433 million pound resource. Molybdenum's over $20 US a pound. And that's not a global resource. That's just a pit constrained resource. We have some holes just outside of the pit that bottomed out a much higher grade to give it some underground potential. We're 275 kilometers by road from the port of Skagway, Alaska, which is an ice-free port, which is very important. And the previous operator also upgraded the road to the project from a sort of a forest logging road to what's called a haul road. And we have a BC Mines Act permit intact. The deposit is open in 3 directions. It's open at depth. It's also a very clean deposit called a climax style deposit. Molybdenum is a critical metal in Canada as well. What is molybdenum? A lot of people don't understand. It's a steel additive. Everywhere you look and you see steel, you're generally looking at molybdenum. The number one use for molybdenum is lightening and strengthening steel. So when you add more molybdenum to steel, it becomes stronger. When it's stronger, you can go to a lighter and thinner wall to maintain the strength. Buildings, bridges, trusses. The Germans are now lightening the weight of their electric cars by adding a lot more steel to the molybdenum to the steel to lighten them up. We all know how heavy electric cars are. Currently, the wind turbines use quite a bit of molybdenum. Geothermal power does. It's a 630 million pound a year market, and dollar-wise, it's similar to nickel. It's the realm of the big steel giants. The big steel giants. It's a bit more obscure, but it's quite important. And we have this project. We own it 100%, subject to a 1% royalty. And most other juniors, again, they're trying to raise money. They're telling you their story, and they're trying to develop a project. This project's all developed and it's ready to go. It's got a bow tie on it. We announced we're seeking strategic alternatives. That's all I can really say. We've been approached by unsolicited approaches by some well-heeled entities, and we're in discussions. There's never any guarantee, but we're excited behind the scenes. when no one cared about molybdenum back in the day, we spent a lot of time at the molybdenum deposit itself encompasses about 3,500 hectares, but the Ruby Creek project is 30,000 hectares, just under 29,800 or so. But we've identified 4 high priority silver targets as well. We all know that silver is getting very interesting. I encourage everyone to learn about silver and study it. It's very explosive, a very interesting metal. So this is our project, it's ours, and we're not really spending any money up there until we find a partner or find something with regards to our strategic alternatives. We recently staked a project in Red Hills, a Red Hills project in Nevada. We bought it off a vendor and did quite a bit more staking. You'll notice these last 2 projects we acquired are non-dilutive. No shares were issued. That's very important. We want to keep our share structure intact and keep it tight. And we're excited about this. The one project called a CRD, or carbonate replacement deposit. Some of the biggest deposits in the world are CRD. And even though there's some old mine workings and some interesting drill intercepts, we understood the sort of regional aspect of this project. There's a lot of signature and mineralization and alteration nearby. So we staked a much larger land position. And our team is actually down in Nevada right now. So it's exciting. They had a previous hole that hit 12 meters of 179 grams silver, gold, lead, and zinc. A lot of people will tell you that's 179 grams of, say, 280 grams silver equivalent, and I can say that. But that can be misleading, because unless you have metallurgical studies indicating you're going to recover those percentages, again, we don't want to do that. We'll give you the raw numbers. You can do your own data. We don't like to mislead people. It's one of the big problems with business. But it's a very interesting project, and we'll be spending time then. It gives us some year-round exploration. And all of our projects are in North America. They're not in Mexico. They're not in Africa. They're in good jurisdictions. We have critical metals and precious metals, and we're very well run. I mean, we have a market cap of $5 million and a huge molybdenum deposit requiring more projects. We also recently acquired Jersey Valley in Nevada, another interesting project. It's sort of sitting in elephant country, not far from Battle Mountain. It's a potential lithocap and a large gold structure. Needs some work, but again, we're acquired on very non-dilutive terms. And we also vet these projects. We have some very experienced people that work for the biggest mining companies in the world, walk the land and review the data with us prior to acquisitions. And we've actually reviewed 11 projects the last year, and these are the 2 we've honed in on. So, just briefly about the company, our projects are all road accessible. We're business savvy. I run a best-in-class business. I'm aligned with shareholders. We have a very tight share structure. We're presently evaluating strategic alternatives for our Ruby Creek molybdenum asset, a $5.3 million market cap, very undervalued. I mean, just to drill at the 69,000 meters of drilling that's already been done and do all the sampling and all the feasibility work, we're very undervalued. Molybdenum space is waking up and getting ahead of the crowd. We also have some high-grade silver, both at Ruby Creek and at our project in Nevada. You can talk about critical elements and green metals. Certainly, we meet all those regards. We're nimble, we're cost effective, and the money raised goes into the ground. We don't go for fancy dinners. And again, I'm only drawing a $2,000 a month salary. So my motivation is not my salary. My motivation is my shareholdings and creating value for our investors. And I just want to say, most people out here aren't that familiar with mining, and they're riding a wave that is developing into an unprecedented speculative bubble by many metrics, price earnings, price book, price to sales, and these stocks are trading at all-time highs. And we all know where that ends and how that ends. You look at the mineral exploration sector, valuations are at all-time lows. The TSX Venture, a measurement of mineral exploration companies, the index was 3,370 in 2007, and now the index is 610. So it's gone down more than 5-fold. Meanwhile, the Dow has gone from 13,600 to 45,000. So it's like an 18-fold differential. So don't pat yourself on the back. On average, you're buying a Dow component, you've done 18 times better than people in this space. But this space is this is a generational opportunity, and you want to be buying when they're crying and selling when they're yelling. And so take a bit of your money off the table and your huge gains you're making in all these rationally priced stocks, and do your homework. And you don't have to take chances. And take, for example, Stuhini, deposits drilled out and shovel ready and 69,000 meters, and upgrade the road costs at least 10 times the present market cap. Why find someone who's waving their arms a few drill holes in the ground when you can buy something already developed? Same with mines that are already built. Generally, you can find these mines that are already built and constructed and buy them for 10 cents on the dollar. So why would you want to fund someone who's building a mine? There'll be 10 and 20 baggers within the sector, and once the mainstream money comes in, and it is starting to come in, very smart money in U.S. money is starting to get very sophisticated, but it's not bubbly, which we really like to see. So do your homework. take a bit of that money off the table and do some homework and incredible values. And hey, if you can't grow it, you have to mine it, extract it. Everywhere you look around in a room, you see steel, you see these things, and copper, nickel. You can't print these things; they're not virtual, and there's gonna be such shortages and a real clamor. It takes many years to develop mines. So that's all I have to say. But thanks so much, everybody, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you, David. All right. So given how advanced your Ruby Creek project is, why are you now acquiring precious metals projects in Nevada?
Well, I'm trying to make money for my shareholders. This is a good question. And we don't want to spend any money on Ruby Creek until we find a partner. The next type of work, either to go back to feasibility or to find an environmental assessment or explore the deeper molybdenum, perhaps do a tungsten study to see if there's tungsten in the deposit. We got a second porphyry nearby. Those are all multi-million-dollar initiatives, and it doesn't make sense. We've already got a bow tie on a deposit ready to go. So while we've sort of put it aside, and I believe I can make a lot of money for my shareholders by going into the U.S., and while the space is still cheap and beaten up, and acquire projects that make sense, that have big footprints and big potential, but not for ridiculous amounts of money or ridiculous amounts of shares. And again, when things are out of favor, they're cheap. That's when the opportunity is, and we see that as well. We also really like the U.S. I really think that Nevada and Arizona are fantastic jurisdictions, and they're very common sense about mining. Other states, not so much. But there's the answer. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you for coming on and giving us this update, and we look forward to more updates in the new year.
Okay. Thanks so much. Have a great holidays, everybody. Be careful.
All right. David, thank you so much. All right, everyone. We'll be right back.